Hey guys, it's Lainey, and today I'm doing my BEA, my BookCon, and my New York book haul all rolled into one. Also with this book haul, I will be announcing my BEA giveaway. I'm so excited for this. The past two times I've been to book events, Y'all West and BookCon last year, I wasn't thinking, I was very overwhelmed, I would say, and I kept forgetting to get things for you guys because I love giving away books and sending them out and sending them to someone, but this time I went in with a game plan. I knew I was going to be getting some ARCs to give away. I knew I was going to be putting together awesome giveaways. I remember to grab a bunch of totes for this occasion, and I have two giveaways that I will be showing off at the end of the book haul, as well as telling you guys how you can enter to win. So first, let's get started on the books I got at BEA. Pretty much every book I have to show you guys has a story behind it. I'm going to try to keep it very simple, but I love to talk and I love to tell you guys stories about things that have happened. Let's first start with Wednesday, which was BloggerCon, which is what me and the girls I roomed with, Sam from Thoughts on Tomes, Shannon from Cozy 2 Reads, and Riley from Riley Marie 1196. We signed up to go to the BloggerCon also because it was a little bit cheaper to go to the BloggerCon. I did get some ARCs at BloggerCon, but most of those ones, as I'm looking at my haul right now, I ended up putting in a giveaway. So you guys will see that one later. I brought my little bitty Y'all West tote because I literally was thinking to myself, girl, you are not going to get a lot of books. Maybe a couple today, maybe a couple tomorrow, because we did have a plan. We did come up with an agenda, which I suggest for the future, if you do go to big trade shows like this one, to have a schedule. I don't think there was really any books on Wednesday that I was like vying for, but what I didn't realize was that galley drops were, I knew they were the thing, I just didn't know how common they were. I always thought they were lucrative and you would never get them, and every time you would go, they'd be gone. I didn't know publishers had galley drop schedules that they were happy, most of them, were happy to give you. So you would see when different ARCs were going to be dropped at certain tables. I realized I needed a suitcase. I got so much on that first day. One of the books that I first grabbed was A Million Miles Away by Lara Avery. This, I think, is like a high YA, mostly NA book, and it sounds so heartbreaking. This comes out in July. Another book I got, which I don't know if I'll be including in the giveaway or not because I do think it sounds interesting, however I don't know how soon I'll get to it, and that is Nightfall by Jake Halpern and Peter Kujanski. This seems like a dystopian, and it's really hard to explain, man. This comes out in September of 2015. And another book I got, which I was really excited about getting because Sam was talking to me about it earlier that day, and when we went to the galley drop for this, she grabbed it for me. Wolf by Ryan Groudon. This is an alternative timeline of World War II where Hitler won World War II, so he's still alive, and this girl, she enters a motorcycle contest, I think, where if she wins, she'll get a private audience with Hitler where she plans to kill him. There's also a lot of other elements in this book when I read the back that are kind of thrown in there, which includes shape-shifting. This comes out in October, and I want to read it before then because I think this could be really, really good. Later that day, we went to another galley drop where I got The Witch Hunter by Virginia Boker, and I really want to read this. I've been very excited to read this book. We went to her signing later that day where I had her sign the galley drop version, and then she signed a new version for me that, you know, says, "For Lainey, fight what you fear," and then she signed it in two different places. So the one that I got from the galley drop will end up being in one of the giveaways. Sam also got me this book when we were in the line because this one you could only choose one of the books that they were giving away for the galley drop. So I had chosen Witch Hunter because I didn't know what the lines were going to be like for her actual signing. But then I really wanted A Court of Fives by Kate Elliott, and Sam's like, well, I'll get it for you. So she hopped in line and got it for me. Kate Elliott, I have her two adult books. You can kind of see them over here. They are Cold Magic and Cold Fire. I hauled them a while ago. I want to get into them, but this is her first young adult series, and I forget what it's about, to be honest, but it's a fantasy. Harper also had a galley drop that day that we went to and we got in line for, and we managed to get. One of them is Newt's Emerald by Garth Nix. Read the back and I'm like, oh, it reminds me of Mulan, but not Mulan, just because a girl dresses up as a guy. But then I'm wondering, will I read this? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. So this one might end up being in a giveaway too. The book that we wanted to get at that galley drop, Walk on Earth a Stranger by Ray Carson. I ended up getting 2 copies of this book too that whole week because I ended up getting in line. And we were the first ones, the very first ones in line for the Ray Carson. I had to hold that sign up for like over an hour. I got in line for that one because I wanted Ray Carson to sign it for Kayla from Book Duels because that is her favorite author. She loves the Girl of Fire and Thorn series. I'm really excited about this one. Kayla's been reading it right now and she's been geeking us about it. It's a historical fiction novel with like a one fantasy element in it where this girl, Leah, she can sense where gold is because this takes place in gold rush era California, which I feel like is a very underused, never used time period in YA. And the last book I got on just that Wednesday was 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston. This is from Disney Hyperion and it comes out in October. This is Arabian Nights retelling, which I'm very excited for. So that was just on Wednesday. Thursday was also a big day because now we were starting to get books that we wanted to get in line for, and the first one that we got into line for right away at 9 o'clock was for Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. And the thing is, we thought it was just a galley drop. We didn't know she was actually signing in booth, and we were kind of wrapped around a corner, and it was like 9:37, and we're like, why isn't this line moving? Because we've been in lines for galley drops before. You're waiting in line forever, and then right at that exact minute that the galley drops happen, the line goes really fast. So I'm like, why don't I already have the book in my hand? She was signing them. That pushed back our schedule because we weren't planning on that, and I had to miss a couple other signings. But I'm very excited for this book, and Alexandra Bracken is so nice. She is one of the nicest authors. She's so appreciative and so gracious. When I was talking to her in line, she remembered me from BookCon last year. I started this book actually that day. That's the thing. I started so many books every night in the hotel room. Read the first 20 pages of this when we were waiting in line for another signing that day, and so far I really like it. The next book we got in line for was for an art copy of Blood Passage, which is the second book in the Dark Caravan cycle by Heather Demetrios. Heather Demetrios, another great author, so nice. This has to do with genies, and it's really well done because it combines fantasy with modern day Los Angeles, and I love that. After Heather Demetrios' signing, we went over, me and Riley, we ran over to the Harlequin unofficial line. Shannon was holding down the fort for that one. Harlequin has this great thing where they have 5 authors signing all at the same time, so you get all 5 of their books. This was the line, if you saw my tweet, where I encountered some, I'll just say it. I encountered some bloggers who were talking so much smack about booktubers, and it really upset me because I know there's this rivalry between bloggers and booktubers, but I feel like it's very one-sided. I've never seen a booktuber ever make fun or complain about bloggers or blogging, but I've seen a lot of tweets where bloggers are always complaining about booktubers and booktubing as a whole. I'm not saying everybody does, because I met so many great bloggers over the weekend, especially at BloggerCon, where they were just so nice and they were very interested in what we did and everything. But then there was just like this group that was sitting in front of us that was just like talking like so much smack about BookTube. And the thing is that our badges say YouTube on it. Can you not read my badge? Booktubing means to me what blogging does to you. Don't talk shit about it. Like, that's so unprofessional. Moving on from that, because I don't want to start anything. Katie McGarry, who is signing finished copies of her new book, Nowhere But Here. I've never read a Katie McGarry book. I've wanted to, and now I can say I have, because I've already finished this book. And I really loved it. I rated it a 4 out of 5. I would have to say that if you love the show Sons of Anarchy, you're going to want to pick this one up, because I mean, I was totally getting all the Sons of Anarchy feels when I was reading this book, because it has to do with the motorcycle club. And she also signed it, and she was so nice as well. All the authors that I met, well, most of the authors that I met were so nice. It just made me excited to read their books, and the ones that I have read books from already, it made my love for their books and them stronger, because I know I uploaded my controversial Top 5 Wednesday during BloggerCon, I said, and I stand by this, I do put authors and their work hand in hand. If I don't like the author, I probably won't like your book, nor will I want to read your book. And if I really love the author, I'm going to love their book even more. And especially, I love the surprise when you read a book and then the author is just so incredibly nice who are fans that, I mean, you just fall in love with them more. I don't think that's wrong to do that, because pieces of every author is in their book. Jennifer L. Armentrout was also in that line. She was signing for Stone Cold Touch. I actually haven't read a Jennifer L. Armentrout book before. I know. This is the second book, so I'm gonna have to get the first one. Ellen Herman was signing a book for Legacy of Kings. I forgot this book was even at BEA until I was looking through what books were there. This is an Alexander the Great kind of retelling. One thing that's hella annoying about this arc is that they have the advanced uncorrected proof diagonally across every page. Adi Alcid was also there. This is his new book called Never Always Sometimes. When he was signing, we were talking about how I was from Iowa City, because that's, you know, on my badge. And as he was writing, he wrote city for embrace the cliches, so it ended up saying embrace the city, and then he was like, oh crap. So he crossed it out and put oops. The last author that was signing for that was Dawn Metcalf. And this is the second book of her series, so I have to get the first one. After BEA that day, we decided to take the subway and go to the Strand in Barnes & Noble over at Union Square. I ended up only getting 2 books at the Strand and Barnes & Noble, so I thought that was pretty good. The first book I got was Tracked at the Strand. Jillian just recently hauled this book and she said it's kind of like Fast and Furious, so I was like, that's my favorite movie franchise. I love that series to my very core. We went to Barnes & Noble. I ended up getting Daughter of Deep Sleep by Carrie Ryan. It's kind of like Revenge, and I haven't seen that show, but I know it's about, so I'm really excited about it. Friday was our most intense day. The Wolf Pack went into Friday with a battle plan. Lee Bardugo was signing 6 of Crow arcs at 10:30. So we knew we had to make the unofficial hovering line right at 9 o'clock. So we were probably the first 25 in, and I booked it with Sam. We went back to the autographing section, got in line, and we were like in the front 10. This was my number 1 pick for BEA. Like, this was the one that I wanted, and I knew I was gonna be devastated if I didn't get it. But hello, I got it. Lee Bardugo is behind Morgan Rhodes, my number 2 most favorite author to her fans. She signed it and took some time, and she like recognized me when I walked up because I met her several times during Y'all West back in April. Mission accomplished. The number 1 book I wanted at BEA is in my possession, and I'm so excited to read it. Another book I got on Friday was The Scorpion Rules by Erin Bow. This one sounds interesting. I'm just going to read the first sentence, because when I read the first sentence, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to like this. And it's, Greta is a duchess and a crown princess and a hostage to peace. I hopped in line for The Cartel by Don Winslow. I really love Don Winslow. He's like one of my favorite adult authors. He wrote Savages, which was turned into a movie, which don't compare it because the book is so much better. He writes snarky crime fiction. That's like the best way to describe his novels, is snarky crime fiction, and I love it. I can't believe I met him, because like, as much as I love YA authors, for some reason I just hold adult authors at like on a different level, so like I was totally tongue-tied when I met him. And so these are all the books I got at BEA, not including the ones I'm about to show you for my giveaway. BookCon. Saturday, I probably would have gone, but I was interviewing Jennifer M. Eaton for my channel, which you will see soon if it's not already up. And after that, we like pieced out. I bought a copy of Fire in the Woods for myself, because when I did a review for this book last summer, I got an e-art copy, so I wanted the physical copy because I really love this book. She signed it for me, and maybe I did get a second book that was just signed for one of my giveaways, but I guess you'll have to see. And Sunday, of course, was the BookTube panel. Surprisingly, I walked down there with just like a little tote bag. Somehow I walk away with like 4 books. I ran into Ferdinand, who is awesome. I love Ferdinand. He tweeted me and said, did you get a copy of Soundless? And I'm like, no, that was like the one most anticipated book of BEA that nobody in our group got. So when I went up to talk to him at BookCon on Sunday, he handed me an extra copy that he had, Soundless by Rochelle Mead. Thank you, Ferdinand, for giving me your extra copy. It meant so much to me. Me and Monica were walking back to the green room to hang out with Christine, Jesse, and Kat before our panel, and I walk right past the Epic Reads booth, right as they're putting out galleys, which surprised the hell out of me that they were handing out full-length galleys for BookCon. What? I see this book. Lainey, do not pick that book up because you hated the first book. You hated the first book. You did a 1-star review on the first book. Don't pick it up. A little voice in the back of my head was like, pick it up, because, you know, that last sentence of that book really pulled you in and you were like, what, now I have to read the second book. But you're not going to want to pay for the second book, so might as well get the art copy, and then once you read it, you can get rid of it. What do? I pick it up, and that is The White Rose by Amy Ewing. You guys, I hated the first book. I hated the first book. I know I'm not going to like it, but there's just something that happens at the end of the book where I'm like, oh, I need to know what happens. And then the second book that I grabbed off the Harper table was This Monstrous Thing by Mackenzie Lee. I'm pretty sure this is a debut. I pretty forget what it's about, but I remember I saw it on Twitter a few months ago and I'm like, oh, that book sounds interesting. I want to get that when it comes out. It takes place in the 19th century. Pretty sure it's inspired by Frankenstein. That took forever. I don't want to edit this. But now we're going to get on to my giveaway. I have 2 giveaways. They're both going to be done on Twitter. While you're watching this, you can look down below and you'll see the links to the tweets that correspond with these giveaways. You'll see the picture and you can retweet it. And if you retweet it, you are entered to win. I'm doing this on Twitter because it's easier for me to keep track of things. Both of them are international, so you don't have to worry about that. You can also enter for both if you want to, but, you know, spoiler alert, you won't win both. The first tote I have is an Epic Reads tote that says Book Shimmy on the back. And the second tote is a Penguin Classics tote. There's a bunch of swag in each of them, but I'm not showing you the swag, so that will be a surprise for whoever wins. Let's first do the Epic Reads tote. I have 4 books in this tote bag for this giveaway. Everything by Nicola Yoon. The second book is just a chapter sampler that I grabbed of like 5 different novels. There's like little chapter samples of each of these ones in this. Tonight, The Streets Are Ours by Leela Sales. And the signed book that's in this giveaway is Fire in the Woods by Jennifer M. Eaton. To confirm that it is signed, you can see it here. I do have a non-spoiler book review. I did rate this book a 4 out of 5. So out of all these books, I have read this one and I love it. So I'm really excited to be giving this away. These are the second set of books I'm giving away in the Penguin tote. I'm giving away Zeros by Scott Westerfeld. This was thick. This was a brick that was handed to me. 1,000 Nights by E.K. Johnston. So as I said before, this is an Arabian Nights retelling. And of course, I do have a signed copy that's going to be included in this one of Witch Hunter by Virginia Boker. So those are the books I will be giving away in my Penguin tote. Dates for this, just go on the Twitter. I will also have when it ends down in the description bar down below, as well as on the tweet that you can retweet. You'll know when each of them ends. I hope you enjoyed this ridiculously long book haul and you stuck around. I'm so tired after this. I'm gonna go take a nap. I hope you guys all have a really great day. I hope you guys enjoy this video and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!